Now, I've been driving around with this, well, big blue, nightfall blue, in fact, 2020 Lexus LX570 for a little over 5 days, almost, well, over 5.5 days, and I've been trying to come up with a way to aptly describe what this truck is, or I don't know, a fair way to describe it, and I think I've nailed it. You know Obi-Wan Kenobi in episodes 4 and 5-ish, you know, like he's in complete possession of all his means. He's got the power, the knowledge, but he's kind of a little clumsy, not really athletic when he's wielding his lightsaber. You know what I mean? But he's completely endearing and you love the character. This is it. This is the LX570. I mean, like Sir Alec, this guy is really old. I mean, it was introduced in late 2007 as a 2008. It's had a few updates, facelifts and whatnot over the years, but yeah, it's still really, really old. And there are a lot of signs that demonstrate that. One of the latest facelifts, obviously, because it's a 2020, is that grille there. Yeah. Okay. If you're looking at the background of this video, you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, he's not in this cold, frigid hell of Quebec. He's somewhere that's a little warmer. Yes, in fact, I am in southern Florida, spending a few weeks here, working, obviously, and trying to soak in the sun rays. And so far, one sunburn, but not so bad. So this is an American truck, is what I'm trying to say. There are two versions of the LX570 in the US. There's a 2-row and a 3-row. The 3-row, if memory serves, starts at about $90,000, and with options, this one is just over $98,000. And luckily, as spec'd, this is pretty much exactly what you get in Canada. In Canada, there's only one version, 3 rows with all the options, and it is $111,300. I mean, I know why it's $111,000, but oish, gewolz, yeah. What to say? I mean, 19-speaker Mark Levinson audio, heated cooled seats in front and second row seat, power hatch, 21-inch wheels, heads-up display, rear entertainment system. I don't know. The list is very, very long in features. Actually, well, let's just do the usual tour, and I'll try and show you a few things that I'm talking about. So I said power hatch, but I half lied. First of all, it's a half power hatch, and it's slow. Holy moly, is it slow. And it's a half hatch. Okay, unlike the BMW X5, for example, well, it's manual at the bottom. And that reveals to you, now if you can imagine, yes, that's the 3rd row of seats. Because this thing is so old, with the ladder frame setup, and the 4x4, and a fuel tank, and a spare, and blah, 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 blah. There's no room for the seats down in the boot floor, so they're up on the sides. That's very old school. I mean, it's cool, but it does chew up a lot of trunk space. In fact, if you look all the way to the 2nd row, you imagine that it's all open, you're looking at about 1,200 liters of trunk space. With the 3rd row, now keep in mind, this is a huge SUV. That's just over 340 liters of trunk space behind the 3rd row. Okay, so it does have one trick up its sleeve, I guess, because it's such an expensive SUV. Am I pressing the right button? Nope. There we go. So the whole thing is power operated, which is a nice touch, but ultimately you still gotta pull up on the strap to bring the seat back up. The storage compartments here, I'll just show you for fun, because why not? This video is going to be long anyway. There you go, and done and done. Okay, so that's the truck. Now, I'll tell you right now, I'm set up like this because there are 4 adults, 2 children taking place in this truck all week, and this is the only way to get into the 3rd row. I'll try and show you what I'm talking about. Take your time. All's good. It's not raining. Nice, sunny, warm. About 26 degrees Celsius. Shut up, I will. Okay. So 2nd row. First, two of the 19 speakers of the Mark Levinson audio. Real beautiful open pore wood, leather everywhere, even textured, thick, semi-cushy plastic in the back. This is the parchment interior. So combined with the Nightfall blue, my goodness, is that ever classic and beautiful. Rear entertainment system, it's optional in this one, standard in Canada. So this is your third row, which is the slides fore and aft, power operated, and this is the handle to make it flip forward to have access to the third row. Now, because I have two baby seats, I cannot have access to the third row. So that's not an unusual problem, but in some cases, normally you would be able to slide, right? So I think maybe now you understand why access to the third row for an adult is done via the hatch. There is, however, room in the middle of the two baby seats for an adult, and that's where one of them has been seated. Here you have all your controls. So see your heated, cooled HVAC, everything is there. Nice little storage bin and a remote for the rear entertainment system. You have a few other controls down here as your DVD player, HDMI for the screens. And that's it for the back. So up front. Now, these seats, seriously, there is an absolute danger of falling asleep at the wheel. They are so cushy, so comfortable, so supple. Multi-power adjustments. They are fantastic. Very much with the nature of the truck, I must say. Again, wood controls. Let's just get in because it's, well, kind of getting warm. Start her up. Here are your nice, beautiful gauges. I love it. This is actually fairly complete. You can get speed, average fuel consumption, which I won't show you. I don't even know if I want to mention it. So here's your HUD heads-up display setup. Maybe you can see it. Yeah, there it is. There's your big screen, which takes always a long time to load. And if you good look at those graphics, they are quite old. Unfortunately, also that Lexus Remote Touch. I won't say any more than that, if only because I've said it way too many times already. What is missing? This, by the way, the controls, HVAC, and the redundant audio buttons. I love the layout. It's beautiful, simple, straightforward. But no matter what you do, if you do buy one of these for some reason, you scroll through the menus a million times and you'll find that there is no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto included for $111,300. But the audio system is pretty impressive. What is also impressive is that, as we all know, this is based on a Toyota Land Cruiser, which explains why this has a crawl control, which has various drive modes, which has 4 low, 4 high, height adjustable air suspension, and many locking differentials, as well as hill descent, hill climb assist. Truly, this thing should not get stuck anywhere. But as we know, the more options and available, features to get out of trouble, the deeper you'll get into trouble. But you don't really do that in a truck like this. Now, despite the absence of Apple CarPlay, for example, you do have intelligent cruise control, lane keep assist, and there's a number of other retrofitted features. This is my Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I love it. I just absolutely love it. I hate the fact that it doesn't have Apple CarPlay, and well, it's still not perfect, right? I'll tell you a little bit more from behind the wheel. As I await, so people can turn left at another endlessly long traffic light in southern Florida, we can discuss what powers the 2020 Lexus LX570. If you know anything about Lexus, at one point, like many other OEMs, the numbers had something to do with engine displacement. Now, that remains true for most Lexus products. You have some IS300s which don't have a 3-liter, it's just the output. But suffice it to say that in a 570, you do get a 5.7-liter V8, which puts out 383 horsepower and 403 pound-feet of torque, more or less. So the exact engine you'll find in a Toyota Tundra. Now, normally in a large SUV such as the LX, that should be enough power to get up and going. The thing with the Lexus LX, you see, is that with a couple of occupants and maybe a little bit of gear in the trunk, and I do mean a little bit, like maybe like a diaper bag, you are pushing 6,000 pounds. 6,000 pounds, that's right. So that explains why the 0 to 100 kilometers per hour only eventually kind of happens. And while you're attempting to reach 100 kilometers per hour, which, I mean, I'm slightly exaggerating, it becomes fairly brisk once engine speed builds up and once you get into the juicier part of the torque curve. The downside is catastrophic fuel consumption. I checked a few days ago what it said there. I won't check again because I'm kind of scared. But 14 miles per gallon. I won't even convert that for you because it's horrible. But know that this thing is rated at 19.2 liters per 100 kilometers city, 14.3 highway, which means in the real life and in winter, for example, kind of like here, if you can average under 18 liters per 100 kilometers, you're an absolute champion. Many reasons explain, other than the weight, why this thing is so bad on gas. One being that it has full-time four-wheel drive. I showed you all the controls down here. Right, this thing has a Torsen limited slip differential in the back. It's got everything you need, like I said, to get stuck severely. 21-inch wheels don't help. But there's kind of a funny thing that happens when you drive a Lexus LX, and that's the fact that Lexus kind of wants to make you think that this thing is sporty-ish, right? Like, the steering is extremely heavy. Like, when I drove down here in my Golf, which has average assistance steering, I suppose. When I got in here, it felt like this had zero power assistance. And what's also funny is on that steering wheel that you're playing with, you'll find paddle shifters for the 8-speed automatic transmission. I mean, the only conceivable reason why you'll need paddle shifters in a truck like this is if you go off-roading, like crawling or something like that, and you want to manually set a gear. Otherwise, you leave it in D and you forget it. Now, the absolute highlight of this truck, though, is how plush and comfortable it is. And just when I started this section of the video, I drove over a series of humps, speed bumps, humps, and you just kind of glide over it. I'm going to go over some railroad tracks right now. That's just fantastically, it's unbelievable. The funny thing is that Lexus advertises this as an adaptive variable suspension, which is misleading because it doesn't have adaptive dampers. It's just that the air suspension will adjust depending on speed. Now, speaking of speed, I'm about to merge onto the highway, so not much. Nice sounds. And of the many features that make you think this thing is supposed to kind of be sporty, is that there's a Sport and Sport Plus drive mode. It's hilarious because it feels like it changes absolutely nothing except for the ride. It kind of gets a little stiffer, but the roads around here are so nice, generally speaking, that it doesn't change anything. All right, so I've said a whole bunch of things about a very old truck, which has a fabulous soul, which has legendary Toyota Land Cruiser bones that have been dressed to the nines, that is ancient as time itself, but oh so endearing and appealing at the same time. Should you consider one of these? Maybe wait for someone to leave a dealer lot. You'll have to wait a long time for that to happen. But the moment they turn off the dealer lot, this thing will have depreciated by 35-40%. Then you can get yourself a killer bargain on a Lexus LX. Otherwise, there are, unfortunately in 2020, fortunately for the LX, an enormous amount of options that are almost as comfortable, nowhere near as luxurious, but better equipped, more technology for about half the price. The Kia Telluride comes up to mind, and for 2/3 of the price, like an Audi Q7, for example. Anyhow, I love this thing, but as we know anyway, like Obi-Wan, its days are numbered. Very curious to see what Lexus will do for runner-up. We do know that the J300 was recently announced, and that it is coming this upcoming summer. So that's it. 2020 Lexus LX570.